Hi everyone, it's Jen again. I hope you're having a good week, and for those of you who celebrate Easter, I hope you have a happy Easter. Um, I have been having like a fairly kind of like chill week and chill life. Like a lot of things in my every day to day do not change. This past month has been a good month for me as far as like my productivity and game development, especially compared to February, which was a rough month with kind of like everything that was going on with getting sick and with the death in the family. March was kind of like a relief to kind of go back to like the usual kind of mundane, everyday routine kind of stuff. And so I was able to sort of finish a little bit earlier. I was also able to like kind of catch up, and this upcoming month, April, is going to be completely new content. So for those of you who might be following my development, the current version of Arcane Dice Wars is a remake of like kind of my initial draft, and I finally gotten to the point where I'm going to be going forward with completely new, like kind of rewritten like story that I was never able to get to in the original version. In the original version, I only had two factions, and in this current version, I have added a third faction, which I think is going to make a big difference towards like my vision for the endings, and it's really kind of helped pull those together. So I actually already have like the entire story roughed out, and I'm pretty confident in the direction that it's going. Including kind of outlines for the endings. Right now, I'm planning on 26 endings, so we'll see if I stick to that or if I end up like kind of like paring that down in the future. But right now, that is my goal, and I am still just as motivated these days as I was like initially. Again, just sort of like mixing up the workflow between doing sort of like more, what's the word? More kind of like mundane or like kind of tasks where I am exercising, I guess, different parts of my brain, where I might go into kind of like a zoning out and just kind of doing what I would consider like pretty easy work, versus like doing work that requires a lot of like focused problem solving. Switching those things up has still been working like really well for me, and this is kind of like the longest that I've ever gone in my entire life without feeling like any burnout. I think part of it has to do with the fact that I just like doing art for myself and not really, I guess, caring so much about what other people, pleasing other people, or like making things like marketable or any of that kind of stuff. Part of it is just the nature of game development as like a solo dev, like being able to like switch up these tasks so that nothing gets too monotonous, between like doing scripting, coding, artwork. It's just it switches up enough that I never get really like tired and feel like I'm pushing through a slog. And being able to avoid that sense of like drudgery is really, I think, the key to avoiding that like burnout that comes with like tackling any of these like very labor intensive type projects over the course of like what could end up being months and years. So yeah, I'm happy to report that I'm still just as excited and motivated to be working on this project as ever. Going into chapter 7, I have kind of all my tasks broken down by what needs to be programmed, what needs to be drawn, what needs to be written, and I try to, in any given week, mix up those tasks. So this week I have been working on this skill trigger animation, and I have roughed out the the scripts that I will need to use for my my writing. And it was more of an art heavy week because I did jump into working on a battle sprite, and I was going to limit myself to one major art asset a week, and then like force myself to go back to like writing, because writing is the thing that always takes me like way longer than I think it will take, and requires a lot of focus that can be hard to sustain. But I sort of broke my rule because I got so excited to make Asher's battle sprite that I kind of like jumped the gun on that, and I'm kind of now also super excited to work on his skill trigger, so I'm probably going to be jumping the gun on that as well. So we'll see if this following my my impulses ends up biting me in the butt by the end of the month. I will report back on that if that ends up being the case. Oh, I do remember that I was having a conversation with some colleagues, some friends, about sort of like misconceptions around like the creative process and kind of just like, I guess, dealing with like people's misconception and not like letting other people's misconceptions like kind of color like how you feel about your own process. So let me break that down real quick. I think that this kind of ties into another misconception that I had mentioned in one of my other videos about like people kind of thinking that like people who have developed like a good level of technical ability with their artwork are somehow like talented, and that what they're doing is somewhat effortless because it looks sort of effortless because of how much like practice, just like the way like a professional like I don't know, a professional athlete can make like doing certain like very difficult athletic feats look effortless. I think that is kind of sort of like how a lot of like creative artists of different disciplines can kind of sort of seem to other people sometimes, and that there is also this misconception, I think, amongst like maybe people who are aspiring to like create or do art but that don't, that it is the end result that is like the thing that you want, and that the process of making it is just kind of like a chore or something, that is just like if there was a way to like skip the effort, the energy, the actual physically like going through and like I guess building what it is that you're making, and you just could like have the end result without doing any of the work, that would be preferable. That like anybody would jump at the chance to like just have their creation like be there without having to actually like draw it or like write it or like make it yourself. And I personally like I mean, I can sort of understand where this attitude comes from, because when I was like younger and I was working in trying to work professionally and I was like on these very like vigorous schedules, there were some times where I just didn't feel like I had the time or the energy, or just physically able to like keep up with the schedule, that like yeah, it would seem like nice if there was like a way to like shortcut this process and like make it go by faster. But then you realize that your life ends up sort of looking like I don't know if anybody else is familiar with the movie Click, where your life is just like you're just waiting for the weekend, where you're just like on like this like auto pilot, like this idea that like you would just want to fast forward through your life if you could. Like that is not how I want to treat my art or my free time or my hobbies or my passions. Like at that point, if that's how you're feeling about doing your artwork, then, or making your games, like if somebody gave you like a fast forward button that just could like get you to the end and you didn't have to actually do any of the work or the process, like is that really your passion anymore? Is that really like what you enjoy doing anymore? Like to me, if you don't enjoy the process of creation, if you don't enjoy pulling the needle and thread through the fabric, like I don't know that you can say that you enjoy sewing. I don't know that you could say that you enjoy like making art. Like you can be good at something and you can make money at it, and you can also like not like doing it. If you've gotten to a point where your process just exhausts you and like it, and you would rather have like a fast forward button to press to like bypass this process, like I think that would be a wake up call. It was my wake up call. Was why I took like 5 years off from like doing any art, is because I thought that it was like something that I didn't enjoy anymore, and so I had to experience life without it for a while. And now that I'm able to come back to it with like kind of prioritizing the enjoyment that I get out of like physically going through the motions, and like putting my brain through that state where it's like in this creative problem solving mode. It is like this perfect balance of like both sort of like making me think, and also doing something familiar. Like it is both familiar and unfamiliar at the same time whenever I'm creating a piece of art. And so there's always going to be a part of me that like struggles to kind of get something that is the way that I want, because it's not like I have like a photographic image in my mind of like what I want it to be, and then I just like kind of output it like a printer. So I think that that's one of the things though that makes it so great. And you know, that is why I will always keep kind of advocating and like saying it over and over and over again to like, don't forget to enjoy the process, because if you're not enjoying the process, what is the point? We only have one life to live. It is so important to never let that go. Whatever it is that other people are telling you, that society is telling you, that, you know, what are the things as artists that we're constantly being berated and told that we need to like take criticism. Yes, criticism is important to be able to take in all aspects of your life in order to improve yourself as a person, and that goes with your artwork too. But you cannot allow other people's prescriptions to prevent you from enjoying the process, because then otherwise what is the point? So don't get lost in whatever other people are doing or what other people are saying. Like, prioritize yourself, your process, and the more secure you become in your own self and your own work, the more the easier it is for you to parse through criticism and benefit from it. All right, well, that's all I've got for today. So again, don't forget to enjoy that process, and thanks for watching. Bye.
Pray for a sweet release.
Whoa, lucky. High roller.
Write another eulogy for this one.